Most megkapod!
Hey!
Bátor a tisztája! Baszás!
Ow. Ow. Ow, ow. I can't fight on these rocks.
Lófaszt!
Ow, ow. In your face. Oh, for fuck's shit.
Well, look what's come crawling out from under some rock.
Come here, lily liver!
Crap. Crap. I'm gonna switch to...
I'll wipe my ass with
All right.
No!
What's going on now?
Oh, fuck. Oh, for fuck's sake, another shield?
Well.
Okay, that's... Come on, come on. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, you... Okay, I got worried there. I thought I was gonna die. Ain't gonna lie. Thought I was gonna die. This is what I was talking about. If only there wasn't so many, though. Actually, no. It's a good thing that I managed to take all these guys out. Really? Wasn't there more? Feels like there was more. Oh well. Oh wait. Here's a guy. Nope, that's a piece of stick. What are you, stupid? Now that fight didn't feel so rewarding. Okay, what's that perk? Oh, flower power? Nope, lost grass info. Okay. Okay. Hello, people. Sir.
Good health to you,
Greetings.
Henry.
It may sound strange, but I'm looking for Simon, the priest.
Father Simon? I last saw him when he was paying me damages. That was back when Mary was still with us. If you want to know something, ask the wife. I don't have the time or the will to talk about that man.
I understand. Thank you. I'm looking for the priest, Father Simon, and I heard you might know of him.
Simon? What do you want him for?
I'm looking for the priest who used to take care of St. James, and the locals tell me they saw him around here.
I don't know if I can help you there. He'll never go back to his parish, if you ask me. Very well. What is it you want to know?
What went on between Simon and your daughter?
Nothing that hasn't happened before. Our Mary was his housemaid in Skalitz. She was pretty, very pretty. And he was young, and so things went the way they do between comely young folk. She came back home one day, heavy with child.
Ooh, damn.
Yes, these things happen. What can you do?
I said as much. I was just glad our girl was provided for. Only she never had the chance to hold that babe in her arms. She didn't live through the birth.
I'm very sorry.
Such is a woman's lot in life. Men die in battle, and women in the arms of the midwife.
And what happened to Simon?
The poor man, he took it the worst. He was sure God's wrath smote Mary for her fornication.
No.
That's rubbish. People lie together out of wedlock all the time, and God never smites them down.
That's just what I told him. But it's hardly my place to lecture a priest. And who knows? Maybe he was right. The Lord moves in mysterious ways. He was overflowing with grief. He barely spoke, didn't eat, refused to take a new housemaid. And then, one fine day, the presbytery was deserted. It took a good season before another priest came along.
Where can I find him? He's said to be wandering around here somewhere.
I heard that too, and I'm inclined to believe it, even though I haven't seen him myself.
How come?
After our poor Mary went to her rest, we used some of the money he'd paid us to put a cross up by the roadside. And lately, there's been wreaths of comfrey turning up next to it. I don't take them there, nor my husband neither.
You think Simon does?
Who knows? Maybe it's a miracle. I could believe anything. But there's not been fresh ones for a while, so perhaps he's moved on elsewhere again.
I see. Can you tell me where that cross is?
Certainly. There are settling tanks for the mines to the west of Skalitz. On the hill above them in the woods, there are several paths. Mary's Cross is by one of them, close to the brook.
All right, thanks. I'll be going.
Very good then.
What
And if you
happened to
do
the
find
child?
him, let him know that we have no hard feelings.
I'll tell him.
Got a little rough.
What is it you want?
Ooh. Oh. What's this? Oh. Unpopular dice. Hey, don't really need that. Oh no. I can't get out. Almost stuck on. How did I fucking get stuck? Oh, still overweight, okay. Okay. So, there we go. So what we've got here? Nothing, but I can rob something. Okay. Okay. Lucky playing dice. What the fuck, man? I'm so sorry about standing over your corpse. Just come here. Stupid horse. there's a chest. Is that what I heard? Funny sounding chest. Very hard. Very hard, my ass. Oh. Nice. A lucky dice. Recipe. So that's the warhorse stuff collected, I believe. Damn it. Just for good measures, I shall give the bunny a warning shot. It didn't move, so therefore, he wanted to die. You got it. Oh. What? What level was that? Okay. Ooh.
This must be that cross. Mary's
Why?
mother was right. Someone did lay flowers here recently.
Bunny's blood flowed in the woods. Got ya. Oh, missed ya. Missed ya. Gotcha. Going down with you, buddy.
I should have a look around and see if there's comfrey growing anywhere nearby.
Should look around for that other bunny I shot. Think you could hide from me?
That's a lie. All these Baraber made that up to tarnish his name. Everyone knows.
Hello? Tram?
Hey, you! What are you doing here?
I've come for the priest. Simon.
There's no one here called that.
There is. Do you take me for a fool?
All right. Maybe there is someone here. What of it? We're not going anywhere.
I think you should talk less and move your legs more.
And why is that? You think you've got what it takes to beat us?
Yes.
I might. But it doesn't matter, because I saw you yesterday, and then stopped by Talmberg to report. So, unless you'd rather wait for Sir Divish's Captain Robard, you should go now.
Shit. All right, we'll go. How far are they?
Far enough still. If you run, I'm sure you'll get away.
Right. Thanks for the warning.
Oh, thank you, my son. I was beginning to fear I'd never get out of here alive.
They didn't look dangerous. The only thing at risk was your possessions.
I know, poor fools. But I was afraid they'd leave me here. What would I have done then? And to whom do I owe my salvation?
My name's Henry. You may remember me. I'm the son of the Skalitz blacksmith.
Your face does seem familiar. But listen, Henry, I can't help feeling you didn't stumble across me by accident.
It's true. I've come to ask a favor of you.
Me? What on earth could I do for you?
I need you to go back to St. James. The folk there need spiritual guidance. Skalitz is a burned-out shell, and many have died in St. James. They need a priest. Any priest.
I understand, but I have to disappoint you. I gave up my calling. Instead, I've given myself over to repentance.
I know your story, Father.
Then you know what I'm guilty of.
Yes, and I don't want to try to make light of it. Your conscience is your own affair, but I know that deep down you're a good man.
You don't know what you're saying. You don't know me.
But I know what you did. Many priests break God's commandments willy-nilly and aren't the least ashamed.
That doesn't absolve me of my sins. God's law is set, no matter how often it's violated.
You're certainly right, but the people need you. And forgive me for being blunt, but while you can leave the presbytery if you choose, it doesn't absolve you of your duty to Christian folk.
But I'm a sinner. I'm not fit to guide anyone. I'm unworthy to do so.
Priests, bishops, monks, abbots, they're all sinners. Even the Holy Father himself is a sinner. You've done your penance, and now your people need you.
You're probably right. It is my duty. At least for a time, until they find someone better.
I don't think they'll find anyone better in a hurry.
All right. I'll take what I can carry and go back to St. James.
Thank you. Your parishioners will be very grateful. I need help with treatment.
And what's wrong with you?
Oh, nothing. But Philip from Skalitz is dying. He's lying in Sasau and won't last long.
Slowly now. What happened to him?
Nobody knows much. He's not wounded, but I heard he was hiding from the Cumans for days in a pile of carcasses.
The Lord have mercy. The living should never lie with the dead. His intestines must be purged, but even then he's in God's hands.
How do I clean his intestines?
It might surprise you, but you'll have to give him alcoholic spirits. The purest you can get your hands on. The best is distilled from Artemisia. It'll make him a bit delirious, but it'll help. I'll show you how to prepare it.
Well, at least I found Father Simon after all this time. Ooh. Fancy. Are you serious? Oh. Fake door. Oh.
What was that noise?
What are you doing here? Tired of life, are you?
Oh no.
Insolent whelp!
Who's there?
No!
Hey! Who's there? You're in the wrong place, the wrong time.
Kurva!
Shut up. Ow.
God damn!
What's that? Who's there? Well, I never. The pig turns up willingly for the slaughter.
Come on then. Come on then.
Gone weak at the knee.
Come on.
I'm over here.
Shut up. Oh. Another bitch with a shield.
Fucker!
Charming language.
Well landed.
Was that all you guys? I'm gonna be even more happier. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh man. Oh, this guy's sucking his own dick. Ooh. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. See, I hear wolves. I never see wolves. Bandits usually have chests. I see nothing. Okay, my controller died there. I think I found the chest. Ugh. Oh. God dang it. Who is it? I am a dirty boy. Oh. But I can't clean myself.
Good health, dear.
Thank you.
I found you a priest.
Really? That's wonderful news. Who is it?
The former parish priest of St. James. I persuaded him to return to live among you, at least for a while.
So you found him?
Yes, he was roaming the woods around here.
Thank God. You'll see. Once there's a priest, people will soon be back.
I hope so.
I've put together a small sum for a new piece. So I thought a portion should definitely go to you, as a reward.
No, thank you.
I couldn't possibly take it. You'll need the money to rebuild the village.
As you wish, then. I shan't weigh you down with it.
So, farewell to you. And I hope he gets here soon. Just that you let him run off again.
I'll keep an eye on him myself. Godspeed to you, Henry, and thank you for your help.
No problem. I'm knocking off these quests now. Oh jeez. So dizzy. Damn it, bunnies, you. You're lucky I can't hunt at the moment because I'm. And I'm having a bad day right now. What? He just saw the other bunny in front of him get done. He's like, ah, that's cool. idea where that went. Oh my god. Yeah, come down to me. I'm slow.
Let's have a word about the price.
Yeah.
All right, so.
I'm gonna let you off by a few hundred. I'm a nice guy.
Here. And something for your trouble.
Thanks 1,000 times.
God's blessings. What can I do for you?
Are you happy here?
It's not worth a damn. If I had any choice, you wouldn't see my heels for dust.
Well, what's happened? Did you two get yourselves into trouble?
A fine friend you are, assuming it's our own bloody fault.
Oh, come on. You know what you two are like. I had to ask.
Well, perhaps with that monk. But now, the foreman's got it in for us. If he could, he'd skin us alive.
Always forcing you to work, is he?
If only. That wouldn't be so awful. But nothing we do is good enough for him. There's always some reason for him to yell at us.
I can imagine.
Sounds like a prick.
You know what it's like. We do too little, and it takes us too long, and what we eat's worth more than the work we've done, and it's no fun listening to that sort of shit day after day.
And the miller won't stick up for you. I would have thought all the yelling would drive him mad.
Not really. He trusts that loudmouth bastard more than us. He's got us down for a pair of parasites.
I see.
What's so stupid is the mill really needs us. They haven't had any hands here for quite a while, and the mill needs a lot of fixing. But with them around, we can't even get to work.
And you definitely don't... You don't ever provoke him?
I've already told you once, he's an arsehole. I'd say there's nothing we can do about it. If he wants to yell at us, he'll yell at us.
Have you tried talking with him?
What do you think? But that just sets him off. He starts saying we're practically bandits, and what he's going to do about it. That gets Fritz going, and he starts yelling too, and...
I'd never have guessed he's like that.
Well, get a job here as a hand, and you'll soon see.
And what does he do during the day? Does he work with you?
Good one. He keeps his eye on everything, but his hand only touches the saw when the miller shows up, which isn't that surprising.
Why?
The last time he did anything, he almost took his thumb off with a chisel. I wouldn't put an axe in those paws of his either.
So, he's clumsy and arrogant. That's what you said about your last master, that Nimoy.
Aye, but at least you could sneak away from old Nimoy for a bit. No chance of that around here.
And what do you want to do about it? Just run away?
Actually, I'd like to stay here, at least for a bit. I never would have thought I'd like working in a mill, but not with him around. It's unbearable, and there's no one I can complain to. But you could.
Me? Do you think they'll listen to me?
They did once already, didn't they? They
Yeah.
hired us because of you. You could have another word with them.
Back then, making promises was enough. Now, it will be worse.
You can forget about the miller. It's Thomas you need to convince. The miller takes his opinion seriously. So, will you do it for us? Again?
Fine. I'll try and talk to him.
I'm glad. But try not to get on his wrong side. You won't get anywhere with him then.
I'll keep that in mind. I'd like you to teach me how to...
Certainly.
I want to achieve
All right, but it'll cost you.
Ooh.
Isn't that quite a lot?
Jesus Christ. Oh, damn.
Since it's you...
You won't convince me with that. Agreed. Now listen up.
Man, I paid you a lot. You're basically rich. F you.
God grant you health. How may I help you?
I'm rich.
Matthew told me your foreman's a fool, and you're not exactly filled with Christian love for him.
You better believe it. I'd like to pay him back for everything, and drown him in the river.
Drown him? What's he done to you?
Jesus.
It was the first or the second day here.
Oh, man.
We had a disagreement, and I told him off. And then, all of a sudden, we're fighting, and that fucker just throws me in the river. I nearly drowned.
Well, how did you get out? I thought you couldn't swim.
I can't. They pulled me out. I was up to my waist in water.
I see. Well, I'd be pretty fucking angry too. So you want to pay him back?
Exactly. I don't give a shit about anything around here, but that bastard's in need of a good trouncing.
I spoke with him briefly, and he doesn't seem so horrible.
Then you ought to try working with him. He's a sneaky bastard, and arrogant. You should see how he puffs himself up when he's off to play dice with Lawrence.
Who's Lawrence? Another mill hand?
Aye, but at the neighbouring mill. They call him the Wren. Damned if I know why. Thomas goes there to play dice with him.
What about the others at the mill? Are they awful as well?
The miller's an old fool. He believes every word that comes out of Thomas's mouth. It's hopeless. And then there's the miller's daughter. She's a pretty lass, and kind with it. And what can she do? Nothing. Not that it stops Matthew gonna see her.
Oh,
but Thomas
damn.
is the root of the problem.
Do you think he's jealous? Is she a sweetheart?
He might make puppy dog eyes at her, but most of the time he just struts about like a peacock. I really don't think she's the problem.
And what do you want to do about it? Do you think you can come to an agreement?
No fucking chance.
Oh,
Matthew
geez,
hopes so because he likes it here. It's true the work's better than the mines, but the pay's worse.
So how do you plan on dealing with it? Leaving?
Perhaps. But first, I want to give Thomas a proper trouncing. I mean a real thrashing.
And you think that will help?
Maybe. Maybe it'll knock some sense into that fat head of his. Or he'll be too frightened to mess with me.
That might help.
So why don't you arrange a fight with him? If we win, he'll leave us alone. Oh, we could...
What?
We could lure him off someplace far away and then wait for him. Maybe to play dice with Lawrence. He would have to go through the dark woods.
I'll think about it.
So... off him? Is that what you're saying?
I want to get better at...
Certainly.
I'd like to hone my skills.
First you have to have some...
Oh, shut up. You was
Well,
thrown into the
I'll
river.
think...
Jeez.
God be with you, Henry.
Thank you.
I'm looking for someone they call Riki.
Jesus! Who wouldn't know Hinnock?
Hinnock?
That's his real name. I doubt he likes his nickname much.
No, I don't suppose he would. Where would I find him?
Try his folks' house, if you have the nerves for it. The old tanner's a grouchy sod.
What can you tell me about this Hinnock?
What can I tell you? No, he's none too popular. No one cares to talk to him.
Why not?
Hangs out with the wrong
Well,
type of people.
I'm not one to gossip, but I heard he keeps
Yeah,
bad company.
What's the tanner like? Hinek's father.
The less I see of him, the better. He's not exactly sparkling company.
Oh well.
Why do they call him Riki anyway?
Why do you think? Because he's a tanner, of course.
Oh.
So why don't people like him?
Bad company.
The old tanner's not an easy man, but a son should never let his father down. Hinnek does nothing to help. He's always far too busy with his own affairs, though I wouldn't like to say what those are.
And does no one at all talk to him?
That harlot Adela hangs around with him,
Harlot?
of
Ooh.
course.
Harlot?
She works as a bathhouse wench. Same
Oh.
thing.
Oh, damn.
I hope I can be of help to you, Knight.
You could.
So you know this Hinek. Can you tell me something about him?
Not much, I confess. Most of the village folk avoid him like the plague.
Why's that?
No one with a nose likes spending too much time around Thomas.
Yeah, so he
And that
does
Riki
stink.
keeps bad company. I've
But
never
the
heard a good
tanning-
word said about him.
Well, I guess so. 'Cause you...
What can you tell me about the old courier?
He's as cantankerous as a hog in a thorn bush. He won't talk to anyone.
Why do they call Hinek Riki anyway?
He's a tanner, isn't he? If you're ever downwind of him, you'll understand. Tanning isn't a trade for the weak of stomach.
True enough, but not every courier gets cursed with a name like that.
Well, Hinek's nature is no sweeter than his smell.
Oh, okay.
Why has he got such a bad name?
Well, like his old man, he doesn't talk much to anyone, and then he's always skulking off somewhere. I heard he got a taste of the pillory in Rattay for thieving, and in Neuhof he got boozed up in the alehouse with his cronies, and they beat up some merchants.
So a bit more than high spirits.
Just so. We're all honest folk here, and we've no use for the likes of him.
Don't tell me there's not a single person who talks to him.
He's been seen around with one of the bathhouse wenches. Adela, I believe she's called.
Are you happy with your new workers?
They're good carpenters, but someone constantly has to stand behind their backs and keep an eye on them.
Really?
Yes, yes. When I'm there with them, everything goes smoothly. But the moment I leave, I hear Thomas yelling at them.
I've heard.
I don't know what I'd do without Thomas. He keeps an eye on everything for me now. The mill wouldn't function without him.
Well, but Thomas has problems with carpentry.
You're right. You should hear him cursing when he has to turn his hand to it. He knows he'll never be a real miller.
What, just because of that?
No. He's not too skilled at handling the water wheel and the mill run either. He can wield a shovel well enough, but otherwise I have to keep telling him how to do things.
So he's not been foreman too long?
No. My son used to run the mill, but then his wagon overturned with him inside it. It'll be a year ago now, come spring.
So your
I'm
son's
sorry.
dead.
Me too, boy. And after Martin was gone, the other workers left and only Thomas stayed. I don't know what I'd do without him.
What happened that day? Wagons don't overturn themselves.
He was transporting new stone blocks for the mill and he had to take a detour. Since the wagon was too heavy for the ford, it was after a downpour. The load must have slipped and the whole wagon fell on him. I pray it was quick.
So he was alone, with no one to help him?
Of course not. Thomas was there too. He helped Martin to load the wagon in Sassa, and both of them set off back.
Just the two of them? No one else was there?
No. They always did it that way. Martin didn't like dragging people where it wasn't necessary, when they could be doing work elsewhere. But if I had been there with them, maybe he'd still be alive. Thomas couldn't pull the wagon off him. He ran for help, but it was already too late.
I'm sorry, but I'm sure he's in God's kingdom now.
He was a good boy, a kind soul.
Have you been without carpenters for a while?
A long time. Since winter, it's been just me and Thomas.
Nobody stays around?
No. These days, it's hard to find a man you can rely on. Young lads today are bone idle. None of them wants to do an honest day's work.
And how many have actually worked here?
About half a dozen, maybe more. We always put up with them till the most urgent work was done, then sent them packing.
And what about Jane? Shouldn't she have a husband by now?
What are you trying to say?
A pretty girl like her is ripe for marriage.
With a large dowry because she comes from a mill? Well, she had herself a man once, but he ran away during the winter. He wasn't up to the work either.
And how long did he last?
You know, he was here for a while. But back then my son was a foreman and he was a kindly soul. Too kind. He never threw anyone out.
So, everyone started leaving when Thomas took over?
Well, Thomas is a dog on slackers. And just as well. Maybe it's harsh, but that's what you need nowadays. If we don't mill, folk don't eat.
So, the moment Thomas became mill foreman, everyone started running off. Not one man could stand it here, even if they had a chance to marry Jane.
Ugh.
Don't you think Thomas might be doing it on purpose? Sounds to me like he's after the mill, or your daughter, or both.
That's not like him.
Yes,
he's a good man and straightforward. He knows I can always send for a new mill foreman.
And Jane?
Don't worry about her. She'll wed whoever I approve of, even Thomas if he asks for her hand. At least with him, I know he won't leave the mill.
Indeed, why would he, once he's got rid of everyone else?
That's enough. I don't know why you're trying to slander Thomas, but I don't mean to listen to it any longer.
Oh. Oh.
I heard what you asked my father. You can't expect help from him. He's none too sharp these days.
And can you help me then?
No. Nobody listens to me. But I wanted to say that Thomas does do it on purpose. He did it the same way before.
Why?
Because he's afraid if someone comes who's more skilled, Father will notice and give his job to the newcomer.
And your father lets him? Can't he settle this?
He probably could, but he doesn't want to. My brother was the mill foreman before him, but last year a wagon overturned on him, broke his back. It broke my father too. And Thomas was here the longest. He was always close to my brother, so Father chose him as the mill foreman.
That sounds stupid.
And Thomas doesn't listen to anyone? Can't you persuade him?
No. He keeps looking my way and tries to be nice, but he doesn't care what I've got to say. When I tell him something, it goes in one ear and out the other.
And this probably won't end well. What happened to your brother?
And what does that have to do with this?
I don't know. You mentioned it, so I was just wondering.
There's not much to tell. A stone block that was loaded wrong, slippery ground after rain, and when the wagon overturned on him, there was no one around to help.
What do you mean, no one? Surely he wasn't alone.
No, he had Thomas with him. But Thomas couldn't lift the wagon off him, and by the time he found help it was too late. And as if that wasn't bad enough, someone robbed my brother while Thomas was looking for help.
Someone robbed him after he was dead?
I don't know. But they took a mottled scarf which I gave him as a keepsake. He laughed when I gave it to him. He said it would make him look like a fop, but he still wore it all the time. And someone must have thought it was worth stealing.
But who'd steal a scarf?
Why are you asking me? When they brought him back here, he didn't have it. That's all I know.
I'm sorry about what happened to him.
Me too.
But Thomas had something to do
But it
with
was his own fault.
No.
If he'd brought more people with him, he'd still be alive. He was too kind for his own good.
I understand.
Where's that son of a bitch? Maybe I should take him and castrate him. Listen here, you piss-weak ant.
I hope I can be of some humble service to you.
Oh.
I heard you were with the miller's son when the wagon fell on him.
What of it?
I just heard some talk and I wanted to get the story straight from you.
Talk? From who?
I heard some gossip about it at the alehouse. What happened? Was it really lightning that scared the horses?
What? No, there wasn't any storm. It was just the road was muddy, and so we rode closer to the edge of it.
It's a real stroke of bad luck, isn't it?
Tell me about it. If I'd been behind the wagon, it would have fallen on me too.
Why did only 2 of you go?
He always did it that way. But 2 people are enough for the trip, and if we needed an extra pair of hands, we could always find some local.
Except at the end. If there had been more of you, he might have survived.
Do you think I don't know that? I couldn't move the wagon on my own, so I went looking for help. We'd met a few travelers along the way, and I ran to find them, but it was too late. The weight of it crushed him while I was gone.
I'm sorry.
Me too. Me too. I didn't want to be the mill foreman, but the last thing he ever said to me, the very last thing he ever asked of me, was to take care of the mill.
And I heard someone robbed him.
Robbed? What kind of nonsense is that?
I heard he was missing something when they brought him back.
What? I don't remember anything.
He had a scarf with him.
Really? I don't know. Maybe he lost it on the way. Or it sank into the mud. Yes, that's probably it. It's still buried there somewhere.
Well, I hope he's resting in peace.
Amen.
So what do you think about the workers I brought you?
If I hadn't put in a good word for them, the miller would have thrown them out by now.
No.
I heard them say something else.
So they're complaining, are they? I provide for them, and all they do is slack off.
Isn't it the miller who provides for them?
He can't manage the work anymore. If it weren't for
Maybe
me, there'd be nothing left standing around here.
Except that you'll never make a decent miller.
What?
I heard when you've got an axe in your hand, you're more of a danger to yourself than any nearby wood. You leave that kind of work to men who know how to do it.
That's a lie! Open that mouth of yours again and I'll shut it for you.
Try me if you've got the guts.
I'll punch your jaw off. Be a bit... Didn't you hear me? Get out before you get another one. Don't mess with me. Get out.